What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Valoramen Cup #1, brought to you by Valoramen and HouseRivalries. I am Dak, here alongside Beatdown Boulevard, continuing the winners bracket action here tonight with our second and final match of the game between Elevate and Atk Mode. Beatdown, how you doing tonight, my man?
I'm doing great. Super excited to be back here, casting the not the finals, not yet. We're
Almost.
not there yet.
Not
Almost
there
the playoffs for the Valoramen Cup. Not only that, I might have to be casting with you again, Dak, because I think the last time we did that was like 2018, Australian Open Division. That's something that's going to be nothing to like most people, but it's just to give you an idea how long it's been. But for tonight, we have a really dope matchup. Atk Mode versus Elevate, both teams we've seen on stream numerous times, of course, and it should be a banger of a matchup.
Absolutely. We have the second seed from, I believe, Group B. I'm sorry, the first seed in Group B, first place in Group B, and second place in Group A, Atk Mode. Elevate coming into the playoff bracket with the second seed, Atk Mode with the third seed. Elevate, they've already gone up 2-0 in their first matchup earlier. I mean, they looked solid in round robin. They went 3-0 in all their sets, 6-1 in maps. So consistency-wise, they have to be, other than last round save, one of the favorites in this tournament to win it. Atk Mode, not as consistent, a 2-1 set record, 4-3 in maps. But coming into this one, I feel like they have a pretty good shot to take a lot of rounds against Elevate.
I definitely agree with you there. I think so. We're starting off with Elevate on the defense here, Atk Mode on the offense. Funny enough, but just to your point, Dak, I completely agree with you that even though Elevate is definitely a favorite, just based on their consistency, their level of play we've seen for them, I think Atk Mode can definitely give them a run for their money. The thing with Atk Mode that we see is that they have a very standard play style. You and I talked about it a lot, about how they just play default. They don't do anything fancy. They overwhelm teams with the basics, and they're quite good at them. The thing is, though, against a team like Elevate, who not only play the default style very well, they actually are really good with the mix-ups. They play a lot of bait and switches. They're not afraid to abandon a site that they've committed some resources on to move on to another one because they know they've baited out defensive rotations. I've said it before on broadcast, Elevate's offenses especially are very fluid, and it's a hard thing to deal with. So Atk Mode, I like what I have seen from them so far, but for them to win this series, I'm going to have to love what I see from them today.
Absolutely. And especially coming into this set, we were reviewing a lot of these previous matches for Elevate. You're talking about their offense, but they're starting on defense here, and they are absolutely just as controlling and able to set the pace on defense as they are on offense, right? Like they are able to take those aggressive flanks, send those lurkers out, create pinch positions and situations to capitalize and create player advantages going onto a site, force retakes really quickly. So they control the pace of a game really solidly compared to most other teams in this league. And with them on defense, I really want to see how they break out of the gate with this one. It's really on Atk Mode here to see how they can set their own pace coming into this first map.
Yeah, that's right. And on defense, it's worth noting too, Elevate are very good at reading patterns on what the offense are doing. And this is part of what I mean why I want to see some mix-ups out of Atk Mode too. If they keep doing the same thing, again, very strong on the basics. But after a couple of rounds, those basics aren't going to work out as well anymore. They're going to get red encountered by Elevate. I want to see how they adapt here in the first half on Haven.
Veer flashed out. Exalt gets the post pick up on Rexo, but Chad trades off on Jerk. Veer finds in, is able to boogie down into the site, but gets picked off there. And Schauker also gets on the board on Rack. And just like that, it's a 3-on-1 situation here. Chad does pick up another one, but they're caught in Cubby just outside the site. And the remainder of Elevate knows exactly where they are.
Schauker, another amazing shot to end the round here. Unfortunate attempt to stack C in the pistol round doesn't quite play out. So now Elevate already off to a hard start on this defense, are going to get that economy flowing for themselves. We're already going to start seeing some things like the Spectre come through and some more heavy armor as well.
Yeah, that Elevate defense was great. They put the Cypher, not like, they put the tripwires and their camera set up on both A and B so they could put a lot of their players on defense onto C, and it just worked out in their favor that a lot, if not the majority of Atk Mode was situated to go towards C. So the perfect setup for defense, and it gave them a huge advantage going into that first round.
Yeah, Elevate leaving few openings. They're going to make it even harder for Atk Mode with this disadvantage to get something this round, but we're going to see it's definitely possible. And I like this. We got a rush plant, but Rexo had the right idea, but he gets taken out anyway. Luckily, Rax is going to pick up the slack. It's still a 5 versus 3. The spike is finally down. Chad is looking like he's going to try to cheese someone, but he walks into 4.
Ooh, and Veer's gonna be able to get out of that one, but not for long. A pretty efficient round there for Elevate. There's not too much utility used by Atk Mode to get onto the site, and as they say, pros don't fake. So once they heard the spike getting diffused a little bit, that's an immediate peak. It has to happen.
Yep.
And Elevate takes the second round now, 2-0. So a B push there coming out from Atk Mode doesn't fare much better than their C push.
I like the idea, but at the end of the day, I think committing to it would have been a little bit better for them. Either way, now things are a little bit more even here. Elevate finally get a big boy buy ready to go here. ARs all across the board. We're gonna see if they can make some moves this round now that they have the weaponry going for them here. Just to highlight what you mentioned too, Dak, you can see again a really nice setup from the Cypher of Elevate, and how you see the tripwires on A site. Nobody else is actually in there. They'll be ready to rotate if that's what it comes down to.
Oh, and look at this. 2 lurkers here for Elevate. Shoker going to be pushing up all the way behind where that spike has been left behind in A long, and then Shoker finds Chad, gets the headshot, can't get much more as Arts immediately swings and gets the Vandal pop there. So now a 4-on-4 situation, 1 minute and 9 seconds left on the clock. Here comes the full rotation from Atk Mode, which looks like Elevate's ready for as they're slowly transitioning out. Miniature does get picked off as Rack finds them on still their lurking mission, and now that's going to be a full commitment here towards C for Atk Mode.
And you can see all the utility coming out, so they are ready for it. Jagushta gets a nice pick, but gets traded onto right away here. So now there's 2 members left on the site. 2 versus 2. KP takes out another. The spike hasn't even gone down yet, Dak. There's time to spare. Or at least there was.
Yeah, not so much now. Right? Even though that Blade Storm really didn't get too much at all there for Shoker, it was not only a kill, but really got Atk Mode, looking over their shoulders there and stifled that first push, and then they had to, force a rotation towards the other side of the map, and that got kind of lingered down and whittled down as they eventually got to the bomb site. So the spike not even really going down there, and now it's a 3-0 lead here for Elevate. Their economy is looking solid, though it's not breakaway pace right now, but they still have a good amount of cash on hand. And now we're going to see what the Atk Mode offense looks to go towards Garage this time, potentially. We'll see how Elevate responds.
Yeah, the Empress is going to be committed by Veer. It's looking like B is where they have their sights set on once again. Smokes are out as well. We're going to see the Lear not do a whole lot. What they don't know is someone is back sight, though. This does hopefully get the opening that they're looking for. Oh my gosh, they literally don't know. He spots them out. That's big. That's 1 orb for Veer. But that's going to be the end of Empress. It looks like the spike has gone down, though. So this is still somewhat advantage ATK Mode.
Oh, and the breach from behind. Yeah, Exalta's all the way in window here. Doesn't see the Cypher on the left. Rack is waiting. Rack sees the utility while Jerk gets the pick off on Veer. Rack's still waiting here, but the rest of his team's taking damage. He needs to swing. And the breach is going to get the easy kill as Exalt picks it off. The spike going to be easily diffused here by KP. And she'll help them get over to a 4-0 scoreline here, BTV. I mean, this is looking all Elevate right now. They're making it look very easy, and they're kind of just, they're letting ATK kind of show their hand, and they're responding accordingly very swiftly.
And this is what we've talked about at the start of the show here, Dak. This is what Elevate are good at. Even if you get a couple of attack rounds off them on defense, they're so good at reading you. And they're so good at getting inside your heads. Like, I want to call back to the round where Shoker went for that roam with the Blade Storm. Like you said, kills 1. Immediately has ATK second-guessing everything they've ever done in their lives as they try to rotate all the way to C-side and waste so much time, and they just keep mixing it up. It's not always Schalker. Sometimes it's someone else on these roams for the side of Elevate. ATK Mode, if they want to get a decent score going into next half, they're going to need to be ready for this, and they're going to need to, again, mix it up.
Yeah, I think, again, it really goes back to the lurking that's paying off so well for Elevate. I think they just know, like, how confident they are on being able to play on either side, like, setting that pace. It means they continue to push out aggressively. Like you said, the Blade Storm coming out from Shoker. You have Exalt on the breach pushing out very hard there, Miniature as well. So they have at least 1 or 2 players lurking or pushing out with an ultimate on their D side every round so far. So that should tell the other team, ATK, to maybe ease up a little bit. Don't even go to a site, play super default, like maybe even sit back towards spawn, just use utility a little bit, knowing that Elevate's going to come out. Once Elevate sees that, then they can start to get a little more aggressive on the offense, because you would think Elevate would then push back a little bit. But right now, I mean, Atk Mode is kind of letting Elevate play how they want to play, and Elevate knows that. They're going to continue. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. So we'll see if ATK can start to maybe create a vacuum for Elevate to come into. No, again, they kind of push out. Miniature is right there already holding that angle and gets the pick off on Chad. So now it's up to ATK. Do they swing out of here and Elevate might expect it, or they continue to push up even though they already know that the entirety of the team minus the Omen's been seen by now? So Elevate knows exactly where they are. They can start spraying through this cage, and so far ATK is scrambling to get a little bit of an edge here.
And looks like the spike is going to go down, but it's immediately red. Hunter's Fury comes out. It's going to get the kill. They're just falling apart on the side of ATK Mode. The 3 kills for Miniature. Rexo's the only one left, and he's just got to hang back. He doesn't know what to do. There's 4 people that he has to get through, and they're already onto him, Dak.
Yeah, they were caught in 4K, man. Like they were right on cams, caught in 4K. Once that kill got picked off, I mean, it is between a rock and a hard place right there for ATK. They commit to that site because they've lost the body, or do they swing out and try to pull a rotation? But the second they start to rotate, if Elevate starts to smell blood in the water, they're going to start sending players over to A and B. And again, going back to those Cypher positions, you can see the tripwires cover not just one site. They're not like putting everything on A. They're playing A and B or C and B. And now all the tripwires on the left side of the map here, while ATK is clearly going to position towards A. So the rest of this Elevate squad's already in position to either look for the rotate or look for an initial pick. And there it is. Shoker with the op finds Veer. And once again, ATK completely at a standstill.
So easy to trade as the Jet, and it makes it even easier when this defense is so aggressive. Exalt just pushes straight out very comfortably, knowing that there's someone else there hanging back outside of short, and it's just already you lose 2 members for the side of ATK Mode, and you can see them hanging out in garage, unsure of what to do here, consistently getting so close to getting the spike down. But now it's looking like they want to go a little more aggressively. But the flash doesn't actually get what they want. No one sees each other, but the kills are still coming up Elevate, and that's another round in their pocket.
Yep, very well done by Elevate, just to play off their utility. They had all the Cypher set up, all the Cypher traps set up. They're ready to go, and once the push came through, I mean, they just had to wait for the traps to be picked off, and that was it. Elevate moved right in. The second that they heard any kind of motion, any kind of action, any kind of utility go off, and through garage, it's already a hard place to push through, especially when there's Cypher utility down. So, I mean, Elevate just setting things up perfectly for an easy round win for them. And now it's 6-0, 6 unanswered rounds here for the Elevate squad.
Yeah, and it's tough. You can see Atk Mode's economy really feeling the brunt of that one. All pistols this round and some armor, so they are going to have to try and cheese something out here. And it's just been read well here by Elevate. Most people on the right side of the map, and that's where Atk Mode seem to have their sights set on. But actually, maybe it's a bait. But what they don't know is Exalt is there, but it doesn't matter. Jagusta is ready this time, and he is going to take him out. That is a good start. You're actually going to get another one. The Neural Theft is going to come through as well. This is crucial information for Atk Mode. They're going to get another kill. Dak, this might be it for them. They might get the plans.
Yeah, this is the best they've looked so far. The Neural Theft was a huge help, but they're backing off again. Now going to
I don't like that.
I mean, I think this is just the sound bait right there. They knew the Sova could hear them, but a Miniature, now that they haven't gone through garage, the only way they can through is funnel through B, and Miniature's right there for the setup. Almost got a 4th. Finds 3, and for Elevate, that completely elevates their chances to a 2-on-2 situation here. And what seemed like an absolutely guaranteed round here for Atk Mode is now a chance for Elevate to get back into this. Jig does find one. 2-on-1 situation here for Jerk. Jerk picks off Rack, and now 30 seconds left on the clock here. Jerk now has momentum and is going to go falling back here, not going to overextend. The spike gets picked up by Jig, but look at that. Miniature, and Jerk clean it up. Miniature sets it up for the pins to be knocked down by Jerk. What a play there. And Elevate refused to go down even a single round.
And they are not giving even a little bit of wiggle room here for Atk Mode. Honestly, off the back of a great play from Miniature. But one thing, it's unfortunate. I think you can already tell Atk Mode are starting to feel that mental boom set. And after 6 straight rounds at that point, I think at that point, after you lose someone, you know they're just hanging back. The spike is near you. It's better if you try to play for the plant. Like, there's time on the clock. I feel like that would have been a better play here, but it's not the move they go with. Atk Mode in round 8 are down 7 rounds straight here. And again, you see a different defensive look coming out here from Elevate, but no part of the map still is the least bit exposed.
Now let's see if they have better chances here going down through long A. Here comes the run it back from Jig. Immediately set up the cage and the wire, so they get slowed down as they try to enter onto the site. Rakdos find their way around the crate, now back towards Connector. Also going to be taking hell is their Reyna, as Rex is going to plant the spike. And now we'll see this retake come out from Elevate. They don't have anybody looking from behind. There's the Rolling Thunder to try and break things up a little bit on site, and they do get Rack, found him in the corner. KP continues to push up. And Jerk goes down. KP, she also falls. Now Mini and Exalt trade off them. 3-on-2 situation here for Elevate as the spike continues to tick down. Rex in the corner, and Joker finds him easy.
Hunter's Fury's not going to find anything. Chad, the Frog, can't make it happen for ATK Mode. So that's going to be an easy defuse. Another round in Elevate's pocket, and they're just continuing to elevate their chances at a perfect game here because they just don't seem like they're slowing down at all.
This is... ATK is playing Elevate's game right now. Elevate has them in the barrel, and they're just shooting fish. So this is...
Yeah.
Right now, they're in full control. I mean, we got to go back to that last round there where even ATK, you can see they're kind of their own enemy, right? Where they went towards Garage. They had the push. All they had to deal with was a Sova. But then they moved back over to mid B and, like, process of elimination. There's only so many places they could have pushed at that point, right? Now on that attack long A push right there, I think at that point, Elevate knew that they were going to go for a full commit after losing some hard kind of split rounds right there. And so, again, Elevate with a really solid read. They're conditioning this ATK squad extremely well. And now Elevate's back to the lurking. You can see how aggressively they're holding these defensive sight lines here, anticipating ATK to be lingering nearby.
It's unbelievable how Elevate just keeps switching up the game every single round here. Attack Mode constantly on their toes, not sure what to really do. And you can see another roam coming out here to make it even worse. Schalker picks up first blood onto Chad the Frog, makes him Chad the Dead. And it's like, what do you even do here, Rapture? I'm at a loss for words. Jerk gets another. They just can't find anything here. Oh, it's just too easy. Can it really be that easy?
Yeah, Jig got kind of timing there, unfortunately. And now a fight in for Garage. Who's going to get that parking spot? It's going to be Mini, who picks up 2 with 5 HP to spare. And this is all Elevate all day, a 9-0 score line. They're trying to wrap this one up even quicker than the previous series that we saw here at HouseRivalries. But they want that Valoramen. And for this cup right here, it's all Elevate. They're absolutely the other favorite in this tournament. And they're showing exactly why.
Yeah, I dare say they are very likely to win it all, in my opinion, Dak. Elevate, every game we've seen, they've done nothing short of impress, and they're continuing to do so here into the playoffs. Even if they don't, or even if they are winning quite handily against ATK Mode, against the likes of Last Round Save, another favorite, I really got to say I like their chances just because it's not just that they're winning a lot. It's how they win the rounds here, how disciplined they are in the different ways that they play each and every single round. It's just beyond impressive to me, and I have no doubt Elevate could actually just take the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to see those two teams go at it.
Yeah.
As far as these two teams, I really want to see from Attack Mode. I wish they would fall back a little bit and try to catch the lurkers, maybe. You know, I think a lot of the time they give themselves an opportunity to turn on the lurker. They don't. Or they try to commit to a site, but they back up at the last second. And I think they need to be more confident on those pushes, especially if they've already committed utility to the site. They really got to, make the best of their time and not be too hesitant on moving out of sight or holding back. But they also got to, there has to be that kind of sense of, okay, if they've held back a little bit and there's no lurker yet, that's when they got to start moving. Because again, every second that passes is information gained and lost. And when you don't see a team pushing a particular way, that, tells you they could be elsewhere. So we'll see what Attack Mode starts to give. They've played their hand pretty openly in these past 2 rounds, but you can see now they're not moving at all, looking for the lurkers, and Elevate has to kind of hold that. They can't lurk out too far because otherwise they will get picked off.
Attack Mode doing pretty much exactly what you're talking about there, Dak. They need to be more careful. Think a little bit more about how they approach these offenses, but also they need to be more confident. That's perfect. Exactly what you were talking about. That's first blood over to Attack Mode. Now they can start to push that even further. But look at that. They're still hesitating. They're still afraid, even though they have the numbers advantage here. And this is where the confidence comes in. You got to pick towards a side. It's not that unreasonable to think you could start moving towards a side.
That's fair. And they do have some time on the clock, though. So I feel like they're still trying to feel it out a little bit. They don't want to immediately trade off of that. But, lurkers like to lurk. They don't lurk just because they need to do it in the game. They like doing it, right? So eventually they're going to get hungry. They're going to get greedy. You saw right there, Exalt eventually peaked and died. And here comes the execute onto B-site. Miniatures waiting in that back area, as we've seen time and time again.
They got him!
And the cage almost covered for him, but no, Veer finds the headshot just in time. Was super low HP entering the site as well. So does get the overheal at the perfect moment. And now going in there, finds another one, but KP will trade, finds Jig. There comes the Blade Storm, but doesn't get much, if anything at all. Instead, it is Veer who is the showstopper and on Reyna this time. 4K to finally secure a round here for Atk Mode. And that's exactly what they needed to do. Sit back, let the lurkers come to them, get that pick, and then figure out a game plan from there. So finally, Atk Mode changing things up, getting things going on their pace, but it is just one round. They still have a huge hole to dig themselves out of.
All right, so it's time for some pros and cons here. Dak pros, they finally get a round on the board on the side of Atk Mode. You absolutely love to see that. They take some money out of Elevate's pockets. You love to see that too. Unfortunately, with the lead they've built up, Elevate really aren't feeling that one too much, but now there it is. The cons are that you need to be able to actually keep up with the strategy. Don't rush because you won one round. You already learned how well and how aggressive Elevate are on this defense. You can take advantage of that, but they haven't done it, and now it's a 5 versus 3 again. And you can see Elevator just starting to push out onto the map here. They are not afraid.
Yeah, this map is absolutely theirs, and they are going to strut their stuff on their territory. Chad does find Minion. Veer with the other op gets Exalt. So now it's a 3-on-3 situation. So the dice are now rolling in favor of the red side for just the moment, but they haven't landed on their lucky numbers just yet, as they're going to try and figure out their way towards A site. Rack is going to scope things out a little bit first. Shoker, though, whips the shot towards the right shoulder. They're going to look for another one. No one's home. Instead, on the other side of that crate, going to peek out as Rack finds KP. Now going to be playing on the other side of this as Shoker's going to look for this Sheriff kill.
What? Are you kidding me?
Not his intended target, but we'll certainly take it. Rack does get the trade, but wow, what a shot. An absolute 1,000 to 1. I got some kind of crazy odds on that one. Meanwhile, the spike will go down as Jerk does re-enter on the site, tries to find
there you go.
Again, hanging on by the skin of their teeth there to secure yet another round. 2 there for Atk Mode. It's not much, but it's something.
You absolutely take those, Dak. And Atk Mode, even though the round didn't start the way you'd hope it did, they did more or less what we wanted them to do. Even though things were a little shaky, they were patient, and at the end of the day, Elevate did end up greeting and pushing out. That's what gave them the opening to come back onto the site there. But you can't always come back from rough starts like that. So Atk Mode going into this next round have to be able to play a little more decisively, but don't greed. Don't rush. You have time on the clock. Let Elevate make that mistake, because with a lead like this, they are most likely going to do it again.
No, absolutely. And a lot of the name of the game in a lot of these situations is waiting or forcing a mistake, right? Waiting for forcing one. And there, Chad just gets the best of Shoker there, looking out towards outside of A as they push out into and through lobby. And we'll see if the rest of Atk Mode will join them. It is a very slow rotation here. Very slow, as once again, Rack is going to be that entry, trying to scout things out on the Cypher on attack. So we'll see how that works. It's worked out somewhat in the past, so we'll see. But Atk Mode has now gotten the majority of their team into lobby and A long, but we'll see if Elevate will find them first. Jerk did scout them out, but Jig gets the kill, and now, of course, that means Atk Mode's going to go onto the site.
And gave them all the opening that they needed. Jagusta going to come out with the run it back. Well, we're seeing ults up the wazoo here. Hunter's Fury is only going to find Jagusta in his ultimate here. And it works out pretty well. That's going to be an easy plant. They don't necessarily have control of Heaven, but with this overwhelming numbers advantage, Atk Mode got to be feeling good right now here. Although Exalt, he's looking for something.
Oh,
beautiful.
Rack finds Mini. Yeah, Elevate. You could see it in their slow rotation on defense. They knew that playing 2 players down going into this retake that they really didn't have much of an advantage to push here whatsoever. It's the last round of the half too, so even losing this round is not really a big deal whatsoever. They're still up 6, as then they'll be on the attack side. So, they got picked off early. Sometimes it's like that, right? There's really not much you can do. You get picked off early, you hope to trade, but otherwise the other team's in control. And Atk Mode did hold on to it. They kicked Elevate off their rhythm for that last quarter of the half, right? Those last 3 rounds. So in that way, I mean, they picked off at least something to get under their belt. At least it's not a 12-0 going into the second half, which is, saying something considering what we've seen previously tonight.
And what I think is still promising about how these last couple of rounds went is that Attack Mode, they're learning. They aren't just, they're taking a while, longer than I'd like them to, but they are figuring out Elevate's habits here. Elevate, even though they switch things up on the defense like we keep talking about, one thing they do consistently is they got people lurking. They hella lurk. It's borderline creepy about how often that they're doing it. So Attack Mode finally are getting the hang of it, and those picks are how they end up winning those last couple of rounds here. If they can continue learning curve, this ability to pick up on what Elevate are doing, the lead could lessen even more.
And this is something we've seen from Elevate in previous series. They just send Mini on their own to lurk on offense. And the rest of the team stacks on the site. They get an even trade. So at least, I mean, at this point, Attack Mode has to know that that's where the spike is being planted on C site. But they weren't able to get too much of a lurk at it. It's only the Reyna now coming from behind. And Jerk and Exalt are going to be pushing up on them, knowing the lurk's coming. Because the Cypher had died over in this area, so we'll see. Oh, Exalt does find Veer, but Jig meanwhile gets rid of KP. So still a 3-on-3. Jig finds 2 with the Frenzy. Pushing up, but Jerk's in high in the smoke as long as possible. Nice timing there, just as the paranoia comes out, but Jig for the 4th.
Oh, they got him!
Off the hot hands, and yeah, that actually is the last kill they needed. Chad will get to the fuse there. And it looked like it might have just slipped through their fingers, but Attack Mode hangs on strong to get that 4th round in a row.
Well, this is the thing too. Pistol rounds being such an important win here, especially considering the deficit for ATK Mode. Now they have the economic advantage. Now you can see they are going to spend a little bit of that cash flow they got going for themselves. And you know what, Dak? That's another round. Most likely in their pockets, making it 9-5. And off of that, who knows? Maybe I'm an optimist, but it could be 9-6. And that's the thing with momentum in a game like this. Attack Mode have their window back into the game, and it was off such a crucial round. What they do with this lead is what I want to see.
And that Frenzy was a good choice on the pistol round too. Just in a retake situation, you want to keep moving, right? You want to keep moving. Spraying and praying is the way to move.
Love that.
And Rack already setting the tone there, making it, along with Jig, a 5-on-3 situation. The bomb's still in Sova's hands, and Sova's going to be moving up into mid towards Garage here for Elevate as Jerk's going to lead the way. Let's see. Oh, the elbow just barely peeking out from the Reyna. Falls back, has to avoid the Leer as Veer will now backstep out away from window. The spike has not committed entirely towards Garage just yet, but that does give Attack Mode the opportunity to now get their defense into position.
And I like we're seeing just as efficient use of these traps from Attack Mode, and it's working out for them so well here. Jerk tries to get a trade, but he is one man versus the world, and with Exalt going down, Attack Mode secure themselves yet another round here in the second half. And I gotta say, I like that they're not afraid to cheese this one out. The judges, the Aries, it's just been working out really well.
Yeah, Attack Mode's not letting Elevate play their game. They're shutting down the offensive lurks. They're peaking first. They're not hesitating, which is we saw a lot of on their offense. So they've gotten into a groove faster than Elevate's refound theirs, but Elevate's still not out of it whatsoever. This is a team that we've seen taking so many rounds in a row against other teams, and certainly this should be no different. They already got that 9 in a row in the first half, but now 5 unanswered from Attack Mode as they're looking to say something on defense, not giving B up here for Elevate to push in. Let's see if Elevate falls into this trap.
What I like seeing too is that Attack Mode are also diversifying their defenses up just a little bit, holding on to most of that Cypher utility. Still has a tripwire to go through, potentially even a camera that he still hasn't used yet. So that kind of discipline makes it a lot easier, makes your defenses a lot more fluid here. But we're going to see if this one actually works. And I like this. They're actually going to let the plant go on to B because of how it's the easiest site to retake on this map.
Attack Mode does lose that run it back. And Exalt from behind, pushing up, putting some pressure there, along with Mini, takes away Veer's attention. And that's, again, Elevate, just cutting the map in the middle with their lurks. And now Jerk, right on side. Just outside this smoke area is planted, waiting for this over to push through. Who won't? Chad is going to wait it out here, but they don't have a lot of time as that spike continues to tick down. Meanwhile, they do have the Phoenix on their side. Oh, they both go through the smoke at the same time.
Oh, no.
Just gets timing. That is unfortunate. Exalt and KP get on the board as well as the spike will not explode. They refuse. Oh, it does finally go off just in time, but now a 10-5. Those 5 rounds in a row have been answered by Elevate, and they were finally able to get control of that map. They got players behind Atk Mode who had committed towards B, and Elevate really kind of just gave it to them. They moved up onto the site. Atk Mode gave them B site, but then Elevate had left players behind to really deal with the remaining players who were going to go for the retake from Atk Mode, and they just had the map split up, and it worked out for them, as now they'll take their 10th round.
Well, we're going to see, though, if Atk Mode can actually keep up this momentum. Oh, my God. Okay, you know what? Rexo getting a little over-aggressive on the defense himself, pushing forward, probably more so than Elevate would have expected. And it's just working out beautifully, because look at that. 5 versus 3. Just like that.
Yeah, sometimes when Elevate gets a taste of their own medicine, it doesn't go down as easily as they would think. When the other team starts to get aggressive, they sometimes aren't anticipating it and get caught off guard a little bit here. Miniature now overextending a bit, going in towards the connector. Comes the Hunter's Fury, meanwhile, by KP from downtown. But it will be Exalt who gets on the board instead. Now throwing the curveball as Jig doesn't commit immediately, going to wait for the second one. Hooking a right here. There will be 2 players up, one in heaven and one down in hell, actually. They don't see each other. It's going to be Breach down in hell. Jig does get them quickly with the snap. And this is going to be very hard for Elevate. Yeah, KP by themselves can't survive the hot hands. And that will be defused. 10-6 now. This is, I mean, we were at a 9-0 scoreline, BT. And now Atk Mode has found their rhythm. They're not letting Elevate play their game. In fact, they're playing Elevate's game in many of these situations.
True.
And they brought things to just a 4-round gap.
And despite such a rough first half, you can see the confidence actually isn't shaken on the side of Atk Mode. Elevate aren't really inside of their heads, it looks like, as Atk Mode have figured out what's been working for them so far. I especially love that second round and a half cheese with the judge, with the Aries. It shows they're not really scared to mess around a little bit with their purchases, to do things Elevate might not be expecting here. And now, again, another defensive setup here. But I'm really curious to see how they're going to respond when Elevate inevitably push for the A site.
Do see those tripwires, so this should be something that doesn't slow them down entirely. But here comes the Rolling Thunder just to guarantee this site take. Here come the tripwires. They go down. Shoker checking corners, finds nothing. Heaven will be held here by the Cypher. Now going to be looking towards Connector. Finds 2, immediately smokes it. That spike will be going down the other side of Crate. And now the retake has to come in through spawn Connector. There's only 1 player on top of Heaven. It is Rack, but doesn't have a great angle with those smokes in the way. And that's KP and Choker going to just go off the easy. A bunch of shots there. 3 in a row. And now a 4-on-2 situation. The Sova is low and just Rack's the only one at full health. We'll see if this is a possible retake here for Atk Mode, but this is all Elevate site all day. A lot of quick kills there as they retake it, and really just nullifying that Heaven sight line there for Rack by throwing a lot of smokes down.
And you can see that Atk Mode, after having the remaining members move across the map, they have opted to save this round. A tough call to make being down this much, but they know their economy is not in the best position right now, and this at least guarantees that they can continue to have a solid loadout for these next couple of rounds that are going to be crucial, because they can be the last rounds of map 1 here. So it's a tough call, but a good one from Atk Mode, and it does guarantee that they're going to have at least 3, make it 4 ARs going into this next round.
Yeah, but and I like both teams mixing it up. They aren't all Vandal, aren't all Phantom.
True.
You really see it's coming down to which of these areas of the map that they're anticipating they're going to take, and also I think personal preference a little bit always plays a factor as we go into these next rounds here. It's going to be Elevate. Again, they send 4 players to one side of the map and 1 player to the complete other side on a run of their own. It will be the Jet here, Shauker, I believe, moving up, while Miniature is going to be leading the way. Shauker is going to make their way onto C site as now Elevate is rotated over with them.
Hey! And I like this from Atk Mode. The roam out through B window, ending up getting them to drop the spike. And even though it doesn't necessarily win you the round. This makes it a lot tougher for Elevate, who have now opted to try and make that rush for C7. What they don't know is Jagushta is nearby. He has utility in hand, but Schalker on the roam, nobody was expecting. Just made this a lot harder for Atk Mode, as they are essentially pinched.
I mean, Schalker was like the predator in the jungle right there. Like, no one could find out where they were at all. Completely silent, going through the wilds on their own, picking up players left and right, and just leaving that lurker unabated the entire round there, setting up for a lot of kills. Now, full control for Atk Mode in Garage, but that's not a lot of real estate. Not worth too much here on this retake situation. Spike is, of course, down. Choker waiting in the right side corner and doesn't even have to swing because Mini does it themselves. Now, playing for overtime is Atk Mode. They gotta force that. Just one round to go. You heard it, folks. Match point here for Elevate.
Yeah, and although it was a bit of a rough first map overall for Atk Mode, they have done pretty well to bring it up to this point here. Can they bring it over to overtime is going to be the question here. I like the mix-ups that we've been seeing so far. They are definitely not letting Elevate play the game that they want to, but it is tough because Elevate, a team so adaptive on the offense, so able to switch up what they are doing. They're a really tough team to keep up with here. If Atk Mode can keep the jukes up, keep bobbing and weaving, dipping and diving, if you will, to keep Elevate on their toes, maybe they can narrow this gap just a little bit more here, but we're gonna have to see how this goes. It looks like we have a hard commit to A site.
Yep, they used the drone. They've thrown both Omen smokes. They're throwing everything down, and Jig runs right into that smoke, though. Jerk will trade on Veer, so 4-on-4 situation still. Spike not down just yet. Manager finds Jig hiding in that connector corner there. Jerk all the way in heaven, waiting for the push-up. And Jerk was waiting for it, but Rack gets the kill there. And now a 3-on-3 situation. So much utility had been used by Elevate. Now they have very little to work with resource-wise to hold off this retake.
There's a lot of ultimates come out here as well. This is kind of the danger scenario if you're Atk Mode. Trey's going back and forth. There's still time for the defuse. You have one man upstairs, one man downstairs. Can they get it done, though, Chad? A very important pick that needed to be done. There it is. He gets it. His third kill in the round. The 7th win for Atk Mode. They're still alive in this series.
Yeah, I mean, just to hold that off, that last retake situation, all they had was the breach flash for Elevate. That's it. So once that flash was used, sure, Atk Mode lost someone to that flash. There's nothing to hold the rest of those last two Atk Mode members from moving on to the site. So Elevate, and that seemed kind of, I think they're at this point feeling like they can outplay in terms of just straight up like gun skills. So they feel more confident in going for these full stacks. Like, all right, we're just going to force the win, right? Like in Smash, when someone just starts fishing for a kill and they just start using smash attacks over and over when someone's at high percent. You got to let the kill come to you sometimes. I think that's how Elevate is right now, is that they're forcing the win right here, and they're giving up rounds where they don't need to. They didn't send a lurker that time. They sent all 5 members. They used their utility pretty telegraphed in a pretty telegraphed way, and then they continue to commit, and they used so much utility they had nothing to hold on to except that last breach flash for the retake. So now a lot slower, way more of a default, and this is something that Elevate doesn't go for a lot of the time. They just a full solid slow default position, but I think now Atk Mode has put them in a position where they kind of have to go a little slower now.
With all the aggression we've seen from Atk Mode on this defense, it's absolutely the right call from Elevate to play this way. This is a very momentum-based game, and that if you give up too many rounds, all of a sudden you are going to find yourself in overtime. So Elevate realize now that they have to stop messing around with these last couple of rounds and actually just make a slow and decisive play. And I think Jagushta is about to meet Schalker. Who's going to win this duel? I'm not too sure, but they are just back and forth with each other here. Oh, there it is. Oh, he misses the aux shot. Oh my God.
Yeah, got timing just a little bit, like started to look away from the angle just as Jig peeked it and scrambled for a shot, missed it. So having that shotty was well worth it. Now again, the commit towards A site here from Elevate, trading Hunter's Fury for both teams. Who's gonna come out on top?
KP
with the 2 quick ones right there, picks up a 2-for-1 with that Hunter's Fury, well placed by her. And now it's looking all Elevate. They have a 4-on-2.5 situation here. We'll see, can they force it? No, KP and Eggshell just funneling those shots down into the connector corner, and there's very little room there for attack mode to retake. It was smoked off, and it was just bullet hell trying to retake that site. A 13-7 victory there for Elevate to push them to a 1-0 series score right now for us, BTB.
And although things didn't really start off the way you would want them to for attack mode, it's good that they were able to bring it back at least a 7-round win. It looks a lot better than 13-0 in my personal opinion here. Overall, I liked what we saw. They were starting to mix things up. They weren't just playing the default offenses, the default defenses in particular that we're used to seeing from this squad. So they are showing us a little bit of what we want to see, Dak, but we're going to have to see a little bit more, especially on map 2, because at the end of the day, if you start on offense again, you can't drop what was it, like 10 rounds in a row. That's hard to come back from, not just economically, mentally.
But I mean, attack mode almost did it. They brought it right back. That was a 13-7 scoreline. They got close. They were definitely, I think, making Elevate a bit uneasy there, but I still think Elevate entirely felt like they had control of that game, and you could see it in those last rounds where they're kind of trying to force the win. They're like, okay, well, we'll play. We'll really play for real now. And they took that last round.
Took off the weights.
Absolutely. So, as you said, we got another map, of course, in this best of 3 coming up. It will be Ascent, so don't go anywhere. More of the Valoramen Cup #1 coming your way here just after this short break. Welcome back, everybody, to map 2 of our second series of the night here at Valoramen Cup number 1, brought to you by Valoramen and HouseRivalries. I am Dak here with Beatdown Boulevard as we move on to Ascent between Elevate and Attack Mode. If you're just joining us, you missed out on a great first map, and Elevate taking it 13-7 on Haven. So they're looking to wrap things up here on Ascent and move on to the next round here in the playoffs. Beatdown, any expectations coming out from you here on Ascent?
So my expectations are mostly geared towards attack mode here, because what I wanted to see from them in the first map, I saw, albeit later than I was expecting, but I saw it. It's that they are capable of learning, figuring out how to play against Elevate. It came too late in the game that time, but new map, fresh start. They, I believe, are also starting on defense this time around too. So that is also going to bode well for them, in my opinion. It's a good start to have on a map like Ascent, where that's the preferred side. So I think if they can get the ball rolling here, have a good half, they actually might be able to take us to a map 3. We just need to see those mix-ups we were talking about. You can't just play the standard default playstyle against Elevate, because they're not afraid to challenge you even while on the defense. They're not afraid to send somebody lurking and honestly coin flip on a duel, and it works so often because their players are good.
Absolutely. Starting on defense, I would like to see attack mode, be just as lurky and also try to bait out that utility, right? I mean, when Elevate's playing at their top play, right, at their best, they are baiting and switching a lot. They're forcing utility. But as we saw in some rounds of that previous map, Elevate's tendency to use utility a lot onto a site have kind of caught them in the butt a little bit here, because a lot of the time, sometimes they didn't have enough utility to stop a retake from attack mode. So they do have to be able to get into a site without using everything, and also without having that utility at their disposal at all times. Sometimes it could be hard to retake parts of the map, especially with Ascent. But I think Elevate, being historically and provenly a very strong bait and switch kind of team, they should be able to make it difficult for attack mode to rotate and hold a big map like Ascent, right? It can be hard to hold all those different areas there and rotate back through spawn. And especially, I'm anticipating Elevate pushing through mid B through Pizza and Market a lot, which is going to be splitting up the map hard for attack mode when they start to rotate back to either site. So we'll see how this works out for them. Attack mode is a team that has been playing from behind a lot of the time in this series. They did eventually catch up a little bit, but not enough. So we'll see how it pans out for them as they start on defense here on Ascent.
You said it really well, Dak. Mid control is going to be very important. Making sure you have control of the space in and around the courtyard is going to be crucial here. And the way Elevate controls space so beautifully makes me worry a little bit for ATK and how they're going to handle it as well here. Things are already starting off. It looks like they coin flipped and hoped that Elevate would make the move for A, but it's actually going to be B. This is a retake.
Already on the site. Oh, so Elevate is on attack this time. Yeah, okay. So as we said, yeah. I knew I was second guessing myself, but you know who didn't second guess themselves? Elevate. They went right onto that site, took it.
Right,
first blood there, finds Jerk. Smoke does come out, and a lot of breach utility being used as well. The flash does pop, and it doesn't really get much of Elevate going. They really have nowhere to go, right? They have to wait for attack mode to come to them, and they're all going through Speedway right there, pushing up onto the side. Veer and Rex get on the board. Exalt, though, from behind, again, it's that lurk factor that they always have for Elevate there, but it's not going to be enough in a 4-on-1 situation. Exalt does find one to take him down to hell with him, but it will be Veer taking that last kill and Rack getting the defuse. So attack mode wins that pistol round on defense, and Elevate finds themselves for the first time not in control, either not tied or in the lead for the first time in this series.
And even though it is one round, it's certainly interesting with how they ended up playing that offense there. Attack mode, excuse me, with a good retake. And now they should be able to pretty easily snowball this into a second round win. So that's going to be a good start for them. How well do they continue playing these defenses once the equal buys start coming through, are what I am most curious about here. And honestly, knowing Elevate, they might do something crazy and steal away round 2.
And that's that middle of the map that we were talking about. They're going to go right up through Catwalk, but they're sending a lurker potentially to move through Pizza once that smoke clears. Rex going to be sitting over here in green, waiting it out. Shoker has now joined, and now it's going to be the entire team trying to push up through mid and take this area that Jig is holding here with the judge holding this hard angle. And so far, no one's caught him just yet. 3 members of the team here sitting on A side. Now here comes the push. The smoke clearing things out. Jig gets one, takes out Shoker, but Mini will get the trade. Now the full push as they move up onto that B site there. But Chad is waiting for them again, though. Trade 1-for-1 for Elevate. So still a 3-on-3 situation. That being said, though, Mini's at 32 HP. So it will make that retake just a bit tougher. Or hold on that is.
You do expect to get a little more out of the judge there, but
True.
3 versus 3 with the spike down still going to be in favor of Elevate here. We're going to see how they play this next little bit here. We're seeing utility out just to make sure nobody is sneaking out there through the side on B short. And now we're seeing the flashes come out from the breach. They're going to commit to this retake here. Paranoia from both sides. Means no one's going to really come through. Judge coming through for Exalt. Rexo getting the finish kill from the back as well. But actually, the attacker
That's the judge we wanted to see.
Yeah, exactly.
That was huge. Exalt with a 3-piece. Picks it up. Tendies for 5. Nice 3-piece there to finish off that round. And I got to see, I mean, that was, again, you need that little bit of utility just to survive the hold. And that paranoia was so huge to hold off attack mode just in time for Exalt to get those judge shots off without getting traded off by, you know, 1 by 1 by attack mode. So that was a really well-placed paranoia there by Jerk, and that really set things up for a solid hold. So Elevate will get on the board 1-1, and it's not a bad time to get back on the board here, Beatdown. It's only 2 rounds, but they're already tied things out, and now Elevate get a little more aggressive as they go towards A main.
Winning the round after pistol when you lost that round is definitely impressive and is going to throw a wrench in attack mode's plans just a little bit here. You see, they only have 1 person onto B side. A is definitely the more popular place to go through. Elevate seem to agree in that regard, but there you go. The little switches and baits that we keep talking about here seem to be playing through, but it just seems like they're unsure at this point. Shauker almost dies, but dashes out to get a kill. Gets traded. We're already seeing the back and forths come through. Still in favor of Elevate, though. And as they actually don't want to quite make their way onto the site just yet. They need some utility to get through, but it's actually going to be the flash. So they realize nobody's there.
Yep, smoke covers that door, so that's going to be a spike down there. 4-on-3 situation. KP holding in hell. I'm going to be one of the last players likely to survive this ordeal. Mini's going to join them. Spike's still ticking away here, and there's no one coming out from connector, and of course no one pinching from A main, so it's all just this window and heaven area here for the attack mode squad to try and retake this. Jig is just waiting things out as long as possible here with the shorty, but it's Veer who gets on the board there first. KP gets picked off, so does Mini. 1 HP there for Rex, I believe. And then Jig also, what a great retake here. But is it in time? I don't think so. It will be Exalt who's actually the last member remaining there. Again, and it's not nearly enough time for it to be defused. Elevate just barely picks up that 3rd round.
And that's the 2nd time that's happened, Dak. Elevate stall out around so well. Attack mode so hesitant on their retakes. End up wasting up so much time that the spike, they just end up running out of time. There's no way for them to actually win the round, get that defuse. And you might be thinking, Beatdown, what the hell are you talking about? Round 2, Elevate wiped out all of attack mode. Yes, but if you were listening to the timer, you'd know that Elevate actually stalled long enough that even if they got wiped, again, the defuse wouldn't have gone through. So attack mode, back to hesitating like we saw in the first half of map 1. This is bad for them because they're going to start losing what little advantages they worked hard for in the beginning of the map here on Ascent.
And Jig is sort of playing floater here in spawn all the way in the back, looking for this mid push, but that leaves B side to be a 2-on-1 situation here. Mini actually gets them to start moving, but Mini bites off a little bit more than they can chew there and goes down to Jig all the way back in spawn, who now throws out that Blade Storm and is now going to be joining the action here on A as they go through connector. Veer picks up KP in the meanwhile. Minute left on the clock. As B side's completely open, it's just going to be that Omen hanging out over there. But Exalt has the bomb. The B side, they have to be communicating that's over. They're going to do a slow rotate through mid. And this is where, again, the defense I would have loved to have seen from attack mode. them pushing through mid once they know Elevate's on either side. Jig, and so once they got that kill with the Bladestorm, could have pushed through market through pizza and seen this rotation happening. But instead they went through towards spawn connector. And this gives B site a complete open jurisdiction here for this Elevate squad, who will get the spike down. They are down a player on this hold, but they have a bunch of breach utility to use that likely will save the Rolling Thunder, but everything else can be popped here. And it's pretty high HP for everyone as well. They're going to use that flash and start getting things going to hold them off. Jig, though, still has the Bladestorm from earlier, so they can start really snowballing this retake. Oh no, but they get caught off on the tags. That's not what you want to see. Jerk gets 2, Rack finds him, but the damage has already been done. 2-on-2 situation here. Rex has to go in on the left and gets picked. Oh, Rex gets 2. It's Rack who gets picked by the op, but Rex pushes in once that op gets fired. Knew that was their cue to go in and gets the defuse. And that was, it looked like it was going to be a bad start with the early Bladestorm death, but Rex keeps the snowball moving down the mountain and gets that retake, forcing it to a 2-2 scoreline. And
that is huge for the side of Atk Mode to keep themselves back in the game here. You can see economically that means that they can make some big purchases here. ARs across the board with the exception of Jig, who has the operator. And this, what we haven't actually touched on yet, is a really big buy here for Atk Mode, because the operator is a really big way teams use to actually control a lot of the space here and around the courtyard, because it's more, in a lot of situations, it is a pretty free pick. People always have to peek here, and you can see that's actually why Elevate are going to use the Omen Smoke there. But it's still going to be important to see how well Jig, or how much value Jig gets out of the op.
And Stoker with this Bladestorm going to commit in. Comes with the Hunter's Fury attached on the side, going to help them push up onto this site. So a lot of ults coming out, but Exalt, an early pick down from Rexo, puts them off, and Rex is now going to look for some more. Jerk, though, finds 2. 4-on-3 situation here. Shoker gets stunned out from that Rolling Thunder, and Exalt had been holding that from the previous round, is going to let that rip, and Jerk will get a kill off that. 2-on-2 situation, though I think it might have been Veer that actually had that Rolling Thunder down, because they have that no longer available to them. Nonetheless, 2-on-2 situation here. Spike has still not been planted by Mini. Well, they will barely do it just on the outside of the smoke. The shock dart almost takes them out, puts them down to 65 HP, a nice 35 knocked off the top there. Spike gets put down. The Owl drone going to scout things out, sorry. And it looks like they're just going to slowly try and chew away at this utility before they push up onto the site.
And they have a little bit of time to play with here and some reach utility to work with as well. But Jerk just very quietly gets an ace to just very suddenly and abruptly give Elevate the lead once again.
Yeah, and I did misspeak earlier. It was Veer who used that Rolling Thunder, so Exalt does have theirs ready to go. That's the only ultimate ready to go for Elevate, so they might hold off on using that. But that being said, they do have that available. 3-on-2, 3-2 scoreline here for Elevate as they look to push this advantage, but it's been back and forth, which is what we love to see, especially from the first map, which was again a 9-0 unanswered run from Elevate to start things off. This is way more back and forth here. Both teams, you know, not giving either too much to work with on this larger map Ascent, but also harder to control. You see much less lurking from both of these teams here on Ascent.
That's right, wide open, making it a lot easier for you to get caught out of maybe a little just too many corners for you to check. And like you said, Rolling Thunder is available for Elevate, although Atk Mode are on a save. Probably won't need to use it here, but they are not afraid to aggress as a result. That's first blood for Miniature. They are looking for a little bit more here, and it's looking like they want to commit to B site. Maybe pick up that alt orb as well. Again, Rolling Thunder available. Don't think they're going to need to use it. They should have a pretty easy time getting onto the site.
And this is Atk Mode just letting Elevate come to them, but we know when Elevate sets the pace, they hold that pace for the most part. And Elevate is really looking for picks here too. Neither team looking to commit here. See Jig with the shorty. Oh, just has to get out of the way from that shock dart. Another one comes in, gets caught on a corner. Shoker now going to push up here, going to find that Cypher, and does get that pick onto Rack. Meanwhile, Mini at the same time. Great timing from Elevate. Literally just waiting for their team to get in position from all angles, and then they all took and swung at the same time. Exalt gets the final kill. and very little blood lost here from the Elevate squad as they pick up another round.
What I love about Elevate is how they use that information that they have in conjunction with the fact that they always send somebody roaming. You have Shauker on the roam. You're both going to converge on the same time. What we don't see a lot of teams do is actually time their engagement so you have two people peeking the same room. And it's feels a little bad when you get taken out that way. It's like you're fighting against SEAL Team 6 there, so it's not a whole lot you can do in that situation as attack mode. But again, really impressive from Elevate. Now that things are even, you can already see the Rolling Thunder is on the menu here for example. Jig getting real aggressive, actually ends up going 50-50. It's just not bad.
Yeah, aggroed with the Phantom there. Didn't have the Judge or the Shorty, so not sure how much they could have transferred in a really high-intensity situation like that. Shoker goes in. There's the Rolling Thunder from Exalt we were talking about earlier, and the site was pretty much open as it is, so maybe unnecessary, but certainly zoned out the defense for the moment. There is the Hunter's Fury coming through, not going to find Pater. KP, meanwhile, the other Sova does, gets two. Finds two quick ones there, and Connector coming over from Catwalk, and now the door comes down. 4-on-2 situation here for Elevate. It's their round to lose here, but how does Rack figure a way in when they have such little health to work with? A nice turn on Shoker on Heavens, but they now know where Rack is. Rack has to start moving, and the drone's certainly going to telegraph their push from above as well. No one else for the pinch situation, and time is ticking. Very slow push, and it was almost too telegraphed. Elevate had to capitalize on that, and Mini picks up the last 2 kills to make it 5-2.
And it's been so impressive how Elevate use ultimates to clear sites, whether it is Hunter's Fury, Rolling Thunder. One thing we talked about a lot before the broadcast, Dak, was how they always use their ultimates, not for kills, but for space. You use the Rolling Thunder to guarantee you get onto the site. Hunter's Fury, you either force people off of the site, or at the very least, you confirm nobody's actually on it to begin with. And again, it just makes for such easy plans, and why I love watching Elevate on the attack here. And you can see they just mixed it up every single time. Attack mode, a few rounds on the board, but not able to keep up overall, it looks like. And this is the preferred side, which is why I am a little bit worried as we get into the second half. But Veer, Pistol versus Phantom. Pistol doesn't usually win, but you know what? We take those.
Yeah, Veer, that's a huge win for them, especially on this eco round. Just trying to knock down as many rifles off of Elevate as possible, and Veer certainly start off big. But again, you can see how important the middle of the map is to Elevate. They'll take it every single opportunity they can. And Jig, again, we've seen this position held so many times. Elevate should know it. Gets the kill with the bucket, right-clicks them, but Exalt will find the trade. So this is now that Elevate's able to move through the middle of the map. They have control on the rotation coming in from attack mode, and they're having trouble getting back onto the B site. But that smoke did force Elevate not to push all the way through mid, so they couldn't actually take control of the attack mode spawn. So that did allow them to eventually get over towards this connector corner here. But now it's up to attack mode to get onto the site, actually. At 4 bodies, moving in hard. There comes the smoke out. Exalt pushes through and finds Veer. That's all they can get. Oh, actually, another peek in. And Jerk finds 2. They're just firing through the smoke and lining up as attack mode. And then again, the lurk from behind is Mini. And that was just a very poorly calculated retake there from attack mode. They all go in. They kind of hesitate. The word that we've been repeating often, the smoke doesn't physically stop them, but mentally did. And they stopped right inside the smoke and just got pulverized as the meat grinder got turned on. Elevate just started shooting through the smoke and it worked out. And then Mini just got the easy lurk. No one's looking behind them. And they find that final kill. But again, it comes down to that middle of the map control that Elevate continues to get. They push in through mid. They know that attack mode might be looking for it, but they're not really contesting the middle of the map. And then they just use utility to hold the site that they've been given. So Elevate now kind of starting to break away from this attack mode squad with a 6-2 scoreline as we push in towards the second part of this first half.
Attack mode are falling into the same patterns and traps as they did in map 1. Not just the hesitation, but the fact that they're not actually watching the roamers and the lurkers from Elevate. I said it last round. I said it this one too. They do it so much it is creepy, Dak. But attack mode, they're just taking it. They aren't doing anything about it once again. And Elevate, of course, you're just going to keep doing in that scenario here. But Flash comes out. Rexo gets one. Exalt trades him back. KP doing her best to try and open up a site. Doesn't realize there's somebody in hell, but the neural theft is going to come through from Atk Mode. Is actually going to give Jig the opportunity to get 2. There's only one person left, and it's KP. This might be the round ATK we're looking for.
Yeah, KP is very little KP can do here over that smoke. The neural theft, I think at that point, Elevate was like, all right, we're going to try and look for a peek here once the neural theft had been used, because Atk Mode is going to definitely act on the information they've been given, but not enough HP, didn't have the sight lines. And Atk Mode will take it. KP is just going to burn that drone nonetheless. They've got enough of those drones are expensive, but whatever. If you got the budget for it, I guess.
He's good for it.
Who am I to talk, right? It's like when LaFon was asking people if they should make get a coffee maker worth like $1,400. If you love coffee, you get
Dak, it was more than. I appreciate the downplay, but it was more expensive than that.
I respect his passion
for
a
sure.
good espresso. Shout out to LaFon, but I appreciate also a good passion for owl drones, and KP currently using a bunch of those as that time ticked down, and that third round. Well, the third round of theirs going towards Atk Mode for a 6-3 scoreline. But Elevate's still in a pretty solid position economically. They can still buy it up. They still are rifled out 4 Phantoms under their belts here, under their arms. And now we'll see if they can hold on to this lead as we go to the last 3 rounds of this half.
Elevate, very happy just sitting on their trust fund, as it's probably going to last them the last couple of rounds of this half, given how well they've been playing here. But ATK Mode do get a good win. That's big on the confidence, although missing a shot like that definitely hurts it. Chad, you gotta hit those, my man. But that actually ends up being a good recon bolt that, once again, doesn't end up amounting to too much. And at this point, the entirety of Elevate's forces have started moving over to B site, and it seems like Elevate's defense are none the wiser.
And Atk Mode, I mean, they still haven't completely transitioned over towards the B site, even though I feel like a lot of utility's been used. I mean, their Omen smoked all the way from A site to B main before Elevated even pushed up onto the site, so a bunch of utilities been used. Jerk, though, finds Rack, who had got a little antsy.
Where is he coming from?
The by themselves. Jig, though, hiding in the smoke, waiting. Oh, Shoker is in position. A huge read, textbook read there from Shoker, waiting for the Bladestorm jet to push out through the smoke. Of course, they thought that they were going to get a bunch of kills with the Bladestorm, but Shoker said no. And Elevate, a very well executed round win to make it 7-3.
The map control has just been phenomenal from Elevate, to the point where you even heard me say, I don't even know where they're coming from half of the time. And I have a mini map in the top left corner, the same one you're seeing, ladies and gentlemen. And Elevate seems to surprise me every single round with the way they just lurk, take different routes to surprise Atk Mode as much as they surprise me. And it seems like Atk Mode still don't have an answer. And again, even though they do seem to learn later on into maps, they're playing on the preferred side. So switching over to attack, even once they figured it out, does worry me.
Yeah, the Yomi there, just the reads from this Elevate team is so strong.
Seriously.
They knew that, I mean, they pretty much know if they don't see Jig or outside the map, they know they're hiding in a smoke somewhere. And now Shoger's going to be one that's going to be hiding in the smoke over here. Shoots, what a shot. Okay,
that's just gross.
Through the wall, just lets it rip and finds Pay Dirt there. Now looking into the smoke on Heaven, waiting for someone to peek out there. Not just yet. In fact, the entirety of this ATK squad is still kind of hemming and hawing out here towards door, waiting for the cage to go down. Another cage goes up. Jig telegraphing their push through and dashes in, but has the bucket.
Wait.
Clicks, but Jerk is the one who finds 3 with the Phantom, and they push right in. ATK just, they decide to go headlong through that smoke, through door, but because Elevate already knew that they weren't coming through Heaven because Shoker had been holding that angle the whole time, there's really nowhere else for ATK to come through. The smokes went down. Only 1 kill off the Bucky from Jig on the jet. At that point, it was just, melt them down from Elevate. They were ready to go, and they found the kills. And now 8-3 situation for the Elevate squad, looking to make this a 2-0 in the series here, as they start to run away with it again a little bit here on Ascent. Oh, and Mini.
Mini comes out with the Odin to see if he can get a cheese kill through the wall. Oh, but Rax in a spot they weren't expecting ends up going 1 for 1. Definitely not bad. Jig is actually going to get a much needed pick as well. And you're kind of stuck at the moment if you're Elevate. Seems like they probably will want to consider moving across the map, but they are actually... Nope, I've misread the route. They are definitely moving across it through Courtyard. Again, not the slightest bit contested by Atk Mode. This could have been a very easily punishable rotation. And look at they're going the wrong way.
Yeah, right. It's when you're playing Mario Kart and you're just going in reverse and the sign comes up in the middle of your screen. They wish
we
you
need
had
a sign here.
In Valorant, right?
Yes.
And now that's going to be the retake coming through from through spawn from A. Let's see how they can do. They have a little bit more room to work with here on the 2-on-4 situation. But Atk Mode doesn't have, they got to peek first. It's already being held. There comes the Rolling Thunder, and KP swings out first. Timing there as Rex was using utility. Great timing from KP. Now Chad goes in, shoots just as Shoker shows themselves through the smoke and finds that kill. Now a 3-on-1 situation here for KP. KP gets one, just has to hold out and play for time, but when a 2-on-1 situation, you know that one's going to be trying to stick it, the other one is going to be looking for the peak, and it's an op that was waiting for KP. A good amount of work done, but it wasn't enough. And now an 8-4 scoreline as we head to switch sides and go for the second half here, beatdown. So this is, again, not super close, but Atk Mode is keeping pace with Elevate, but they can't be keeping pace the whole time. Eventually, the finish line will be crossed, right? You can't be in second place the whole time. So Atk Mode does have to, I really think they got to start playing more of the mid. As you said, that would have been an easy reposition there that could have been taken out by Atk Mode had they been holding the middle of the map, but instead that rotation came through. They still get the win, but I think a lot more rounds could have been won by Atk Mode on that half had they been pushing and trying to aggress more towards the middle of the map.
Absolutely. And now as we swap sides, we're going to see if Atk Mode can continue to eke out a couple of more rounds here. We're going to see if they've actually learned anything from this first half of the map, because at the moment, it does seem like they opt to walk into the meat grinder, as you so aptly call it, Dak. And it's just always just rushing for retakes with all through one choke point. Not a whole lot of lurking going on. But we're going to see now as they force their way onto a site. Oh, nobody's looking at Jerk.
Oh, I wish they were looking elsewhere. Yeah, and Exalt. Maybe trying to pick some pet. Oh, clicks right down. KP. Exalt was the distraction, and KP was the finisher right there. Exalt putting their faces out, willing to put their body on the line, but KP will find the kills, and that was a great, another round well executed there from Elevate as they cleaned things up and slowed the pace down, something that they don't always do, but on a pistol round like that, sometimes you just gotta cool things off and play chill, and that was right there for Elevate, the exact thing they needed to do. 9-4 scoreline, a very solid pistol round win. We'll see how much more they can extend it. As I said earlier, they've been keeping pace, but will they start to get ahead? They had the lead once, but since then they haven't had it. And there goes a recon arrow for the ages there, clicking on the wall just above Gelato, but not going to find anybody because the entirety of this Atk Mode squad is in A main or B main instead.
And that's actually a really great arrow because at least KP knows that she can start moving over to B side and expect quite the engagement here. And as for the rest of the squad, they're doing it again. Look at the roams. You have two members just ready to go through from the other side of the map. As soon as they get confirmation that someone's coming through, miniature, nice dink, gets answered back onto, but still a pretty good start here. But actually, that's going to give Atk Mode the perfect attack as they have moved their way onto B side. And they're going to have a pretty nonchalant spike planted.
Elevate's not going to give this up without a fight. I'm definitely going to see what they can do to try and put a wedge in and create a problem here for this Atk Mode squad. Still, though, just on the perimeter of this wow, Shoker! Shoker goes in with the ball on 5-2. Exalt also gets on the board, peeking when Atk Mode expected at least. Chad, though, finds Shokers. They peek in through the smoke, but Chad by himself picks up the Bulldog. But as they do, Exalt starts firing and finds the kills. And what did I say? Elevate won't go down without a fight and takes it away, pulls the rug out from beneath Atk Mode and down a player, retakes the site, and diffuses that spike.
And that's going to be beyond demoralizing for Atk Mode. They had that in the bag. They had the numbers advantage in their favor. But Schalker wasn't really interested in any of that. They just said, yeah, that's cool. I'm just going to kill 3 of you now. It's like, wait, what? And then the round ended just like that. And Elevate, we talked about this before. They play smart, but also they play damn well. And you can see each one of these individual players is very capable of popping off in such a fashion. And when you just take turns having them roam across the map, it feels very suffocating if you're attack mode. And losing rounds that you should win like that definitely hurt.
Love the vocabulary. Absolutely agree there. And now Shoker is going to show more of it, pushing up hard with the Bladestorm, but nice peek right there.
Woo!
Jerk playing alongside him. Both of them get a piece of that one, picking up kills to make it a 5-on-3 situation. And now, I mean, this just gives Elevate free roam of the map here, BTB. I mean, Shoker can go absolutely anywhere. The bomb is rotating back to A main. You can see the Omen is waiting. Jerk throws some utility. Actually shows where the position, and didn't realize that the rotation was coming. They threw out the smoke and gave away the corner they were holding. Now Shoker down to 21 HP is playing survival mode here. As Elevate finds, or Mini finds Rack, that is. KP now going to go on their own lurking mission. Just, I love how Elevate is not dissuaded from, they lose a lurker, they send another one. They lose that lurker, they send another one. Their checks down to 31 HP, they send another lurker. They will continue to push into your side of the map regardless of where you are. And now they're creating a pinch situation where they're going to be able to retake this site from all angles.
And that's what they do best on the side of Elevate. So even though the spike goes down, attack mode know that they have quite a hill to climb if they want to pick up their 5th round of the map here on Ascent. But I like the positioning, but Shoker, who still has the Bladestorm, so good at landing the long-range blades, still at 21 HP though. And there you have it. Miniature is going to put this round to an end with the kill and defuse. And Elevate 2 rounds away from taking this series 2-0 and moving on in the winner's bracket here. Attack mode, backs against the wall. What can they do?
I don't know. I think at this point the present's been wrapped and now it's time to put the bow on top. It might not be that holiday season, but I'm already ready. And I know once Halloween is over, the tree goes up in my household. I don't care. The tree goes
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Going up early in the Elevate household as well. They're ready to decorate out here and decorated with the blood of ATK. As they look for some 2 more rounds, and they are just in full control again. They send those lurkers out, and the mid-map control is something that ATK has pretty much not gone for this entire series, I feel like.
Yes.
Certainly on Ascent, especially, particularly on Ascent here. And you're going to see just how well it works out. Allow Shoker to peek out unabated. There's another target waiting there for him. We'll see if they peek out as well, but only Chad goes on first. They do. Oh, and what's Rex jumping, but that game of Leapfrog is not going to pay off. Shoker just that is all free real estate for Shoker there. Now another 5-3 situation here for the Elevate squad as they can just start to play with their food, pushing in towards B main, flashing themselves. It's all good, no big deal. Exalt doesn't need the utility, goes in, picks off Jig while Rax gets the retake, and KP comes in for the finale. Now it is match point for this Elevate squad. They more than smell blood in the water. They see the flesh, and now they're ready to bite.
And you just see, if you're looking at the mini-map in that last round, the layout of the defense here from Elevate, something they've done all series long, is not only mix it up, but just play the map so very well. And of course, the courtyard that we highlighted in the middle of the map here on Ascent, consistently under Elevate's control. Offense, defense, doesn't matter. It's their part of the map, and Shoker showed us exactly why that's important. The off play gets them the kills, and it gets them over to match point here, as this is the last chance here. Veer's going to use the Rolling Thunder. Utility is coming out. No need to hold anything back now. But KP is going to start it off. Oh my god, KP and Jerk, 2 apiece. And that's going to be it with the Hunter's Fury. Elevate are going to win the series 2-0.
Elevate just letting attack mode whiff on site. Just they threw out utility, and Elevate is like, all right, come to us. Use everything you want to spend it all, and we'll show you what's up as we retake the site easily. I mean, KP right there, easy cleanup, right? And that was just all Elevate all day. A 13-4 scoreline. We thought that it was going to be just as close, if not closer, than the previous map, but Elevate proved us wrong. As you said, a 2-0 victory. And looking at the board, I mean, this was, I think, pretty evenly spread out for this Elevate squad. I want to say, though, and I was trying, I didn't think I'd have enough time to get the comment in on the game because the game ended quickly. But both of these teams playing with the exact same resources. The comps are exactly the same, right? Everything available to them is identical. But the smoke game, I think, from Elevate was just on another level, right? They're able to smoke down the sites and cover themselves way more efficiently, and their timings pushing into smokes were almost flawless. How many times do we see them push perfectly into a site using the smokes or hiding in the smokes, or knowing that like Jig is holding a corner inside of a smoke and pushing just when he pushes out? Absolutely perfect timing from Elevate. The game sense to aim sense and back to game sense. We love to see it. And Elevate showing why they are one of the top 2 seeds in this tournament and looking to potentially take it all.
And the most exciting thing left, Dak, is that all that's left to wonder is who are they going to play next? It's going to end up being last round Save versus Elevate in the next round of the winners bracket here. And I think that's going to be one of the most exciting matches in the tournament. I honestly think it's going to be a sneak peek of our grand finals. And from after seeing Elevate play so phenomenally, almost smurfing the game they went through today, now we want to see how last round Save is going to play with them, challenge them, and we're going to see what both of these teams are really made of. That's what I'm really excited for.
Yeah, I feel like that is the match that everyone's been waiting for. We're certainly looking forward to it. I'm sure you are all as well. So be sure to tune in. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern. The stream will be up earlier than that, I'm sure, here at House Rivalries. And of course, brought to you by Valoramen. This is the Valoramen Cup #1. I've been Dak, here alongside Beatdown Boulevard, and of course, our absolutely fantastic production team here with Ben, and V-Flight on the squad. I almost said B-Flight, but that's a pretty solid combo. Well, thanks to them, and of course, Bemi as well. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow for more playoffs. All the playoff matches are being streamed, so if you want to see your team and support them, be here again tomorrow here at House Rivalries. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.